What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping in. Today we're taking a look at, in my opinion, 7 high quality, affordable, everyday carry slicers. We're going to jump right into it with the Olatin's GO56. I will have this knife and all the knives you see here on the video today linked down below in the description. And no, this is not through controlled testing. This is through just everyday carry use, and I did select these knives out of a fairly big group, and we got quite a nice variety, but you're going to see a couple of things that are fairly similar across the board, and we'll talk about that more at the end of the video. But let's start with the GO56 here. This is going to come in under $50. If you're not familiar with Olatin's, over the course of 2024, they have put out several exceptional high value folding knives. They started out as a folding knife scalpel company, and have since went to having knives made that are really well done. 14C 28N steel that is done very, very well. We have a satin finish, dual thumb studs, a nice sharpening choil. It comes down nice and thin on top of having a thin blade stock. This thing is a cutting dream. We have dual thumb studs for the deployment, a little bit of jimping. Would have liked to have seen that run down further, but as this is a new company, you're going to see that in their lack of a left-hand carry pocket clip here with an ambidextrous model. Like I said, new company, growing pains. I'm sure it's something they already know and just have yet to implement into newer models, but I think we will see it. We have to give them time. There's still companies that have been around for a long time that aren't getting that right. So not going to get too carried away with nitpicking on that. We do have a very well done recessed deep carry pocket clip. It's nice and minimal. Could do without the Olatin's, but not a deal breaker. The show side is clean. We just have their branding mark there on the pivot, which looks clean, and you're going to find these in a ton of different variations. Next up, we're talking real steel, and we're talking Nitro V. This thing came like a laser beam right out of the box, and this is a great size knife. One of Real Steel's new offerings, an O-stop held design. Nitro V, if done properly, which Real Steel does a good job with it, is a great steel, especially at the given price points. We have a nice drop point, almost spear point like blade. We have this nice swedge that rolls to the tip. Yet again, another great sharpening choil, dual thumb studs for the deployment, and then we have our crossbar lock, which Real Steel does a really good job at the crossbar lock, and the tabs that they use are always nice and soft, but they work really, really good. We have textured G10, a deep carry wire pocket clip that is going to be reversible, and that is very well done, as is typical from Real Steel. And if you really love this model, like I do, they also offer this in a titanium handle with Nitro V, I believe, and that comes in under $100, which that is an insanely good deal to get a high quality Real Steel knife in titanium and Nitro V for under $100. Plus you get a Taco integral steel frame on both versions. It makes this a very dependable, rigid folding knife that is going to slice and dice. Next up, we have the Miguron Mallory here, coming in right around $50 depending on the version that you get. 14C 28N steel here again. We have a coated blade that's more of a modified sheep's foot. We have black micarta for the handle material, but they're going to have several different variations of this knife that you can choose from, all right around $50. Now, this is one of the larger knives on the list, I believe the second largest. But we have for as large as this knife is, a fairly thin blade stock, and it comes down nice and thin. The other thing I love about this knife is you have that full choil there. Some people hate them, some people love them. I don't, I like them, but I also don't mind if it doesn't have it. So it really don't matter to me, but I take advantage of it when it's there. And because of that, you're going to have a ton of control over this entire blade. And you have that nice low pokey tip for precision stuff. We have a cutout or fuller, and we have a rear flipper tab. The detent is tuned very, very nicely on this thing. Great access with a chamfer to that liner. The black micarta is done well. Their micarta is done good across the board. And then we have a milled titanium clip, G10 backspacer, full steel liners, and there is going to be a little bit of internal milling. And we have a little splash here with a pivot collar, aluminum that has been anodized, clean show side blade, and their logo on the pivot. If you're not familiar with Miguron, they provide one of the absolute best bangs for the dollar in the knife world. If you're getting enjoyment out of the video or you enjoy knife and EDC content, make sure you're subscribed here because I release daily videos. And as always, let us know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. So the next knife is going to be the largest knife, and it is a little bit more robust, but this thing is so tall that it comes down just very, very thin. For as big as this knife is, it really cuts well. We have that nasty Wharncliffe blade, QSP Swordfish. I don't even know if I said the name. I think I got ahead of myself. We have dual thumb studs and a rear flipper tab. For the deployment, we're going to be looking at QSP's 14C 28N, and they do a fantastic job with it. We have micarta handles here, and then we have recessed steel liners with a little bit of internal milling, G10 backspacer, and a deep carry wire pocket clip that is recessed there and will be reversible, making this an almost completely ambidextrous knife. For lefties, using the button for a right-hander is very easy and maybe almost, easier for a lefty. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Almost completely ambidextrous. And QSP does a solid job on their button locks. This thing is very comfortable. Got their little logo on the pivot. Probably could do without the QSP on the blade, but it is small, subtle, out of the way. But even still, just go with the logo and let it rock from there. Incredibly good action, guys, especially for a button lock. It is little button stick. It is really, really well done. Impressive that they're able to get that much resistance on that kickoff off a plunge lock like that. It's ultra impressive. Very comfortable, great utility knife, and a great everyday cutter. Next up, we have the CJRB Shale, going to be coming in around $50 depending on where you get it and what time of the year it is. Might find it also a little cheaper, but this thing is nice and thin. Coming in RPM 9, we have a coated drop point blade. Nice little flare there with some jimping. Decent sharpening choil, could be better. We have dual thumb studs for deployment. A really, really well done crossbar lock. We have G10 on G10 here. A very flashy model, but they do have other models as well. Deep carry clip, surface mounted, and it is going to be left-hand friendly, making this an ambidextrous knife. It's a good mid-sized knife that is ultra thin, and it's going to cut very, very well for you. The RPM 9 is going to hold up just fine, especially in this given price point. It is a good steal. Do I like it more than 14C? No, but there's not much I like more than 14C either. Also, to have other options, RPM 9, it's a good steal. It's a better 9CR. So I've never had a complaint with it. I don't have corrosion issues out of it. I've never had any toughness issues with it. The edge retention has been just fine, and it's easy to sharpen back up or strop back up as well. So yeah, it don't have 20 CV's edge retention, but it's also a very affordable steel as well. I don't mind RPM 9. I like it. I enjoy it. I've had a ton of knives in it, used a ton of knives, and cut a lot of stuff with RPM 9, and I think it is a fine steel. And these last two were very, very tough for me to decide on which one to go number 2, number 1. I knew these two were the top 2. Actually, the last 3 have been the top 3. And the Perix coming in there as well. But the Kaiser Mini Militol, this thing is a freaking laser beam. They have D2, Nitro V, all kinds of different steels. S45. They have minis like this one here. They have full-size ones. There's a million that you can pick from $40 all the way up to a couple $100. And doesn't matter whether you're buying that $40 one or that $200 one. It is going to be great, great quality, and it is going to be a nice thin blade, nice and pokey. Sharpening choil could be a little better, I think anyway, in my unexpert opinion, but it is what it is. We have the Superman cutout and the front flipper for deployment with a very, very snappy detent. With this one, it is a G10 with an acrylic inlay that is clear. I love this version with the satin blade. We have great access to the liner, and it is very easy to get to and disengage. We have a nice deep carry surface mounted clip there, and with the Militol series, it is going to be right hand carry only, but I really like the clip that Kaiser uses on this. Wish it was a little shorter, but I really do like this clip. And that leaves number 1, the SRM 255, and this is the PKT Gear exclusive version with this beautiful blade right here. Now, the SRM 255 has a ton of different variations off of it in all kinds of different steels. I believe these are still available. If they are, I'll link them down below, but I'll also link some of the other versions as well that also are going to perform very, very well. But the SRM 255 has been a staple for them for a couple of years. I wanted to double and triple check, but they are still in stock at PKT Gear's website. I'll have it down below. And the steel that this is coming in is a laminated 140 CR steel that is done 61 to 63 on the HRC. And it is an equivalent steel to S35 VN according to SRM. Now, PKT Gear is the only dealer for this exact knife, and they are actually going to be an exclusive retailer for SRM. So we're going to see quite a bit more coming from PKT Gear. They're brand new, and I'm excited to see what they have. But they have these in carbon fiber, micarta, and if you're not familiar with SRM, they're very similar to what you would get from Real Steel. Companies like that, like Rake, they're going to give you a lot of bang for the dollar. We have a great sharpening choil there with this pokey drop point blade. Dual thumb studs for the deployment. We also have some glow-in-the-dark thumb stud tips there, which in the unboxing of this knife, I show all that stuff off. If you didn't see that and you want to, I will link that down in the description as well. And we have this back strap here for our crossbar lock, couple of pivot collars done out of brass, and then we have a nice deep carry clip that is going to be mounted on the butt end and can be left or right hand carry. They also include a lanyard post there for the lanyard fans, and we have a micarta back spacer to match. Going to be a great size in a lot of people's wheelhouses. And one thing I've learned about the 255, no matter what steel it is going to cut and do it very, very well. This knife is extremely comfortable. Medium to XL sized hands will fit on this just fine. I wear an XL glove and have plenty of room to maneuver around on this thing. Just a great all-around EDC knife. One of my favorite budget knives of 2024 came from SRM with this thing right here. Not only because it performs very well, but I love the look of this blade and the micarta. Just a very, very cool looking knife. Let me know which was your favorite from today's video. I love hearing from you guys, your thoughts and opinions on all these knives, and let me know what one of your favorite slicers have been throughout 2024. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video to more people. If you're new to my channel, I release daily knife and EDC content just like this. Make sure you're subscribed and you ring the bell. That'll notify you anytime I release new content. I'll put a couple of new videos up on your screen. Go check out the one you haven't seen. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.